Thank you. Carrie Bivens with Potomac Economics. We're the Independent Market Monitor for ERCOT, and we're here on the bill as a resource witness.
Representative Dean.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Carrie, thanks for being here today and just listening to the various witnesses today, and wanted to see if we could use some of your expertise as well. It seems like your name's on some of this, or it's on some of this. Just some questions. First of all, and I'm just basing on your experience, and if it's something you don't feel comfortable with, we have other people like my friend Sanchia is also invited. But would DRRS help reliability in market signals for dispatchable generation?
Yes, I believe it will. We recommended a similar product back in fall of 2021. And that was in recognition of an operational flexibility need that we saw that was arising in the ERCOT market, and that also we saw ERCOT taking out-of-market actions to address that flexibility need, and that we believe could be better addressed with a market product such as DRRS.
Okay, thank you. Another question, would DRRS reduce the need for RUCs?
I believe it would. It should.
Okay. How many megawatts has the ORDC produced, and why do they keep raising it?
I don't believe I can answer that second question. And by megawatts, just as a clarification, are you asking how many megawatts
Yes,
have been added to the grid? Mm-hmm. All I can speak to is that, the ORDC is a very, the scarcity signals that the ORDC provides are very efficient to incentivize generation exactly when you need it, at the time that you need it. We have some opinions about how the ORDC curve should be expressed, and we believe that the ORDC revenues are sufficient to support existing generation and to build new generation going forward.
Okay, and that promise, that wasn't a gotcha question. Okay. How many megawatts have been announced if we implement DRRS versus how many with firming?
I haven't done any modeling on that. Again, we have recommended the similar product to address an operational need, and would not categorize it as a resource adequacy tool.
Okay. Will firming put greater burden on residential customers or industrial customers?
I would agree with Bill Barnes's testimony around the nature of the load profiles of residential and small commercial customers, and that the calculation in the formula in SB 7 would impact those types of customers more than it would. So
the residential to smaller commercial customers would see a higher burden?
In general, it just depends on the load profile of the variability of the load of particular consumer classes and residential weather sensitive loads, and they tend to be more variable.
Okay, thank you. Will the DRRS help reliability in market signals for dispatchable generation?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I believe that dispatchable generation and potentially load resources, but dispatchable generation are the only resources that could qualify to provide that service.
Thank you. One last thing, we've talked about, our PCM with guardrails, and, meeting that we had here, we got a variety of answers or, about what the cap value should be or shouldn't be, and cone times 1, cone times 2, cone times who knows how much. Just based on your experience, is a cost cap of $500 million net realistic for building new generation? Or if not, because I know from y'all studies it was $462 million. Is that correct?
To be clear, that was a different consultant that performed those studies.
All right, but that was the number I think we had. In where the $500 million net came from. But just in your professional opinion, again, not a gotcha, what would it take to ensure we build new generation?
So that number is based on modeling that contains a number of assumptions. One of those assumptions is that the reliability standard will be 1 day in 10 years. And that reliability standard has not yet been formed by ERCOT or the Public Utility Commission. So we can't know even if all the other assumptions in the study are correct, whether that 470 million is accurate, because we don't know what the reliability standard is yet.
Okay.
The higher the reliability standard, the more conservative the reliability standard is, the higher the performance credits will cost.
In some of the assumptions that you've done, that y'all have done, was it using the 1 in 10 day reliability?
So we have not performed an independent analysis of the performance credit mechanism.
So in your opinion, we really don't have a reliability formula at this point? Consistent, reliability formula?
Well, we have a reliability target. A reliability standard is typically something that is developed when you have a capacity construct, which Texas doesn't currently have. And so that's why we don't have, a quote unquote reliability standard. We're currently meeting the reliability target and the planning reserve margin target, as y'all saw in that CDR report that ERCOT released today, that we're, I think, at 22% this year and 33% next year. For summer peak. And so, as the independent market monitor, we're not seeing a resource adequacy issue or a capacity issue. What we have addressed and our recommendations have been, this operational flexibility issue, that we have some recommendations on how to improve that going forward.
I mean, it probably wouldn't surprise you that in all of our meetings, both here and privately, all of the various homework assignments that our chairman has given various members of the energy sector, we have not really come up with a reliability standard. So I think what I'm hearing is that whether the 500 million is realistic or not realistic, we can't really come up with a good number from a committee perspective of knowing what it would cost to build to a reliability standard that we could agree to. Excuse me, and like today, I'm hearing, well, the number's really 1.25 billion. My question is that net or is that some Cone Plus deal? Well, I'm not really sure. So it's very difficult from my perspective. I'm speaking just for myself as a member, but to come up with as part of like the PCM, et cetera, and not know what reliability standard that we're trying to get to. Maybe we'll hear that from ERCOT or PUC if they come as a witness. But I mean, it's very difficult to understand what the number would be if you don't know what reliability standard would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that. Without knowing what the reliability standard is, then you can't accurately estimate what the costs are going to be. And so that's why E3, when they did their report, they used the 1 in 10, which is, what a lot of other independent system operators use. But my expectation and my prediction is that ERCOT is not going to use that. They're going to use something different.
Thank you so much. And again, no gotchas and for not giving you more notice, but thank you very much.
Sure thing.